If you've not yet explored the world of alternative and open tunings, you're really missing out, though it can be quite daunting at first and sometimes feels like you have to relearn the guitar all over again. However, if you follow these simple tips, you'll be able to create and play chords in any tuning of your choice, even ones you've made up yourself. For this entire video, I'm going to be using open F tuning, which is FAC FCF. I chose this tuning as I'm not at all familiar with it, so I figured it would be a good way to show you how to put these ideas into action. One great thing about open tunings is that your entire guitar is tuned to a single chord voicing. This means you can really take full advantage of the open notes in a way that might not always work in standard tunings. And if you want to change keys, all you have to do is use a capo. Whenever you want to find chords or notes that work well together, regardless of tuning, my first step is to normally figure out what my root notes are and where they fall in relation to the beat and bar. To do this, I'll usually start by picking a single string and find a sequence that sounds good. So nothing mind-blowing there, it's just a very simple sequence of notes: F, A sharp, D, C and back to A sharp. That, for now, will be what I build my chords around. Now, as we're in an open tuning, I can take full advantage of the open notes. I'm thinking for the first two chords, which you heard I'm holding for 2 bars each, I'll play these as sort of broken up arpeggios. I'll use the open strings along with some fretted notes to build in a little melody. As these chords are held out longer, it'll give the listener more to latch onto than if I simply strummed each one for 2 bars. I started by strumming all the strings open, then moving the fretted note on what would normally be referred to as the B string until I hit a note that resonated with me. I found that once I hit the 9th fret, this sound really stood out to me. It felt like a strong starting voicing for my opening chord. I wanted to add a little melody to this, so I decided to include a hammer-on from the 7th fret just after playing the lower notes to establish the root, then pick a few of the open notes to create this basic arpeggio. Keeping with that same idea, I moved on to my second root note, A sharp. I wanted to continue the hammer-on idea, but once I got to this position, I didn't really like the sound, not to mention the awkward fretting. However, I did like the sound of the higher F note on the second string, so instead I tried hammering on from the open string. From here, I realised that what would usually be my open high E string was now the same note as what I just hammered on to, so I decided to pick this note again, given a little chorus-like moment, before hitting the root note and then mimicking the previous chord's pattern. Those two chords combined gave me this opening arpeggio. For the final part of my progression, I wanted to bring in more rhythm and focus on some colourful sounding chords. Often with open tunings, you can make use of simple 3-note chords, using one open drone and then moving your root and colour note around it. I decided to try that idea here. If you remember, my third root note was D. I found the same note directly beneath the next string on the 5th fret, so I built my next chord in that position. I liked the sad sound created by the fretted D note and the open F, what would usually be the G string, so I used this as my drone note for the next few chords. From there, I needed one final colourful note to create a bit of dissonance. Naturally, I went for the second string, the next available one. Playing everything but the root note open felt too loose and didn't quite give me the tone I was after. Using the 5th fret again didn't help either, as it just repeated the note from the previous string. But when I moved it down 1 fret, I found this really nice dissonance. From here, I could almost hear a micro melody starting to form in my head, going from the 4th fret, up a half step, and then down to the 2nd fret. I liked the sound of this and wanted to incorporate it somehow into my chords, of which I still had 2 left to build. My next root note was C, and since I was keeping the 3rd string as a drone, I just had to match the root starting on the 5th string. I moved the rest of this shape down to the C on the 3rd fret, but something about this didn't sit right. I wanted to complete the melody I was hearing on the 2nd string, so I moved that note back up 1 fret, giving me this. My final root note was going back to A sharp. I found the same note 2 frets down from where I already was, so it made sense to keep everything in this similar position. The note from the melodic idea ended on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, so I added that over the root and drone to see how it felt, and I ended up with this. Altogether, the final progression sounded like this. With a bit more instrumentation, I came up with this. I hope some of that helps to demystify playing in tunings you're not used to. It can work really effectively in standard tunings as well. If you'd like to see how, then watch this video next.